The recent and momentous confirmation by Elon Musk that SpaceX could achieve a staggering valuation of $1.5 trillion by 2026, directly validating swirling reports concerning an initial public offering, marks a pivotal juncture not only for the company but for the entire landscape of commercial space exploration and high-technology investment. This affirmation came via a characteristically succinct, yet profoundly significant comment on the social media platform, where Musk responded to an analysis by Ars Technica's senior space editor, Eric Berger, by stating, "As usual, Eric is correct," thereby offering a rare official endorsement to detailed financial and strategic speculation. The specific reports, as corroborated by Musk, outline a plan for SpaceX to initiate its long-anticipated IPO in the window between mid and late 2026, a move that is projected to raise in excess of $32 billion in capital and, crucially, would establish the company's market capitalization at that eye-watering $1.5 trillion figure, a valuation that would place it among the very most valuable companies on the planet, rivaling or surpassing current giants like Apple and Microsoft. This strategic maneuver is deeply interwoven with the company's ambitious and multifaceted technological roadmap, which has evolved far beyond its original core competency of launch services into a broader integrated vision for infrastructure, directly tapping into the explosive global trend of artificial intelligence. Central to this new direction are revolutionary plans to transform the existing constellation of Starlink project, already revolutionizing global internet connectivity, into a networked constellation of orbital data centers, leveraging the perpetual solar energy and the natural, profound cold of the space environment to power and cool advanced computing hardware for AI processing and data storage, thereby creating a potentially unmatchable platform for low-latency, global-scale computing. Furthermore, the company's vision extends to the lunar surface, with conceptual plans for manufacturing facilities on the moon that would produce next-generation AOI optimized satellites and hardware, free from the constraints and costs of Earth's gravity well, a concept that aligns perfectly with the overarching goals of NASA's Artemis program and the establishment of a sustained lunar presence. The Guardian reported that these ambitions have precipitated concrete action, with SpaceX having initiated preliminary discussions with major investment banks to orchestrate the complexities of the public offering, a necessary step to marshal the astronomical sums required to fund such grand ventures. This financial aspiration is further detailed in a Bloomberg report, which elucidates that Musk's internal projections for the company's total valuation are indeed anchored around the $1.5 trillion mark, with the expectation that investor appetite fueled by the parallel progress of the fully Starship deep space transportation system and the proliferating revenue streams from Starlink will allow the company to raise significantly more than the cited $32 billion figure during the This context is essential, as earlier in the same week, conflicting reports had surfaced suggesting the company was engaged in a private share sale to a select group of investors, a transaction that would have valued SpaceX at approximately $800 billion. However, these reports were swiftly and categorically denied by SpaceX's leadership, indicating a firm commitment to the larger public market strategy articulated subsequently. For Elon Musk, who retains an estimated 42% ownership stake in the calculus behind pursuing a public listing appears to be driven by a need for unparalleled scale and speed and capital formation. He has framed public markets as the fastest and most reliable source to amass the vast resources necessary to outpace intensifying competition from other well-funded private space firms and established aerospace entities, all while executing on projects of staggering complexity and cost. Musk has also demonstrated a nuanced and shareholder-conscious approach to this transition, as evidenced during a Tesla shareholder meeting in November, where he expressed a sincere desire to explore mechanisms that would allow Tesla's loyal investor base to participate in SpaceX's growth, musing, "I really want to figure out how Tesla shareholders can participate in SpaceX in some way. I'm thinking a lot about how to give people access to SpaceX stock." He has historically been candid about the tensions inherent in such a decision, acknowledging the potential downsides of public market scrutiny, including short-term earnings pressure and operational transparency, while concluding, perhaps, at some point, SpaceX should become a public company, even with the disadvantages of going public. This perspective is echoed by prominent market analysts, most notably Cathie Wood of ARK Invest, whose forward-looking models project an even more aggressive growth trajectory for SpaceX, suggesting the company could reach a valuation nearing $2.5 trillion by the year 2030, a forecast predicated on the successful dominance of multiple multi-hundred-billion-dollar markets. From global broadband and point-to-point Earth travel to lunar logistics and space-based data services. To fully appreciate the magnitude of this potential $1.5 trillion valuation, one must consider the company's transformative journey from a precarious startup challenging entrenched aerospace orthodoxy to the world's dominant launch provider. Founded in 2002 with the audacious goal of making life multiplanetary, SpaceX's early years were defined by iterative, often explosive, development of the Falcon 1 rocket, which after 3 failures achieved orbit in 2008, securing a crucial NASA contract that saved the company from bankruptcy. The subsequent development of the Falcon 9 rocket, with its pioneering vertical landing and reusability of the first stage, utterly disrupted the global launch market, dramatically reducing costs and increasing access to space. The Falcon Heavy, the most powerful operational rocket in the world for several years, further demonstrated heavy lift capability. Simultaneously, the Dragon spacecraft was developed to resupply the International Space Station under NASA's Commercial Resupply Services program and later evolved to transport astronauts under the Commercial Crew program, ending U.S. reliance on Russian Soyuz vehicles. However, the two most transformative pillars underpinning the future trillion-dollar valuation are the Starlink mega-constellation and the Starship super heavy launch vehicle. Starlink represents a bet on creating a massive, recurring revenue stream from consumer, enterprise, governmental, and mobile broadband services across the globe, a market valued in the hundreds of billions annually, with thousands of satellites already in low Earth orbit and plans for tens of thousands more. Starlink has achieved operational profitability and is poised to generate substantial cash flows to fund other ventures. Starship, the fully reusable stainless steel behemoth currently in testing, is the linchpin for the entire ambitious vision.
Its success would reduce the cost of access to space by orders of magnitude, making the aforementioned lunar factories, Mars colonization, and large-scale orbital infrastructure economically feasible. The synergy is powerful. Starship enables the cheap deployment and maintenance of Starlink, and the profits from Starlink finance the development of Starship and its derivative missions. This self-reinforcing cycle is what analysts believe can propel the company into a valuation stratosphere previously reserved for software and consumer tech giants. The proposed IPO, therefore, is not merely a liquidity event for early investors, but a strategic inflection point designed to fuel a phase shift from a dominant launch company to the fundamental infrastructure provider for the space-based economy, encompassing communications, computing, transportation, and resource utilization. The $1.5 trillion figure, while monumental, is framed as a milestone on this path, representing the market's anticipation of SpaceX capturing a leading share of these nascent but colossal markets. In essence, the confirmation of the 2026 IPO target and the associated valuation projection is a declaration that SpaceX is transitioning from a privately funded disruptor to a publicly traded cornerstone of 21st century industrial and technological infrastructure, with Elon Musk orchestrating a capital strategy as bold as his engineering visions to cement its position at the forefront of the final frontier.